Hello, 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 sellers. It is Kathy, and I love to be selling. And this is January 2024. So happy New Year. Happy New Year, everybody. Come on in, come on in. And we're going to talk about an overlooked tip that can absolutely get you more sales. And I'm going to explain it to you. And it's super easy to do. And so many sellers overlook this. And the reason I know is because when I work with people, I go, have you taken a look at this? And they haven't. It's super easy. You can take a look right at it. It tells you a lot in a very few minutes what you need to know about your eBay selling that you can use quickly. Don't you love quickly? To get more sales. So come on in, and I will explain to you. So first of all, thank you so much for those of you that watch me live. Hello, live watchers on Facebook, my Facebook business page. I certainly appreciate it. Those of you that catch me on YouTube, thank you, thank you. Just hit subscribe. I certainly appreciate it. And those of you that listen to my podcast, Kathy Terrell, I love to be selling. I so appreciate you. And the wonderful reviews. I really, it's very, very much, I don't take you for granted. It is a joy. It's a joy to read your comments and respond to you and hear from you. It certainly helps me. So thank you, thank you, thank you. And let's talk about this overlooked tip that can really help you generate sales. A lot of sellers just don't look at. And what got me thinking about this, if you don't know, I worked a lot of brick and mortar retail in the past here in New York City, places like Crate and Barrel and Bloomingdale's, Macy's. And one thing I discovered one day, I was in a store and I did merchandising and display. So I learned a lot about retail and how things look and how things are set up to engage shoppers, to attract shoppers. And I was watching a manager taking a lot of notes and checking things off. It was like on a clipboard. I'm sure now it would be like on an iPad. And so I just asked her, because I was good friends with all the management. I was like, oh, what are you doing? And what they did was, in the various departments, this was in a houseware store. So for instance, like with cutlery, plates, they also sold some food. So in the different specialty food sections, they noted on an hourly basis. So I guess they would go to the computer and note this, what the sales were in each department. So they knew on an hourly basis, and also the hour of the day, because maybe, let's say, like cutlery did really well at lunch, but it didn't do so well at dinner time, that kind of thing. So they noted the sales numbers by the hour in each department. And that really struck me, and it makes total sense, right? That they're categorizing all of that. Then I was at another store, and this was more a soup to nuts store. And in this store, when you walk down the main aisle, there were a lot of displays on each side of the aisle, like all stores. And there were various displays on each side of the aisle. So as you're pushing your cart through, you're seeing this merchandise that's literally right next to your cart. And then also further back, there was various departments, like a coffee department, China department, placemats. But they have these displays down the middle. And what I didn't know was the displays are barcoded. So they scan the barcode for that display. And because of the items that are in the display, they know what's in the displays. And they would note what the sales were from those center aisle displays. So they're checking the numbers by placement. And then the other store, they were checking numbers by department and by the hour of the day. So the big thing is they're looking at what is selling, what is working, and they categorize this very, very regularly. And I know for us as sellers, a lot of times we'll look at overall sales numbers, but it can be frustrating or confusing. Like, what do I look at? Where do I look? What's helpful? And also that when you go there to look at numbers for sales on eBay, is that it's something that I can grasp quickly. There's certainly times when you're going to want to do a bigger deep dive and really drill down. But oftentimes you just sort of want a quick overview, like sort of like, how am I doing? It's like opening the refrigerator. It's like, is there food? How's the bread doing, right? I pick up the milk container, like, do I need milk right away? But like a quick snapshot. I'm not going through like every little thing in every single cabinet in the kitchen. I'm just getting a quick overview of like the essentials, like, how am I doing? Do we have eggs? Do we have milk? And there's a similar procedure like that, is sort of, let's check on the eggs and the milk. And it's in the eBay app. And I wanted to bring this up. I know many of us use the eBay app to take pictures and to upload. It's super helpful for listing. It's also super helpful for sending offers to buyers, but it's also very helpful for quick snapshot on numbers. So if you don't have the app, if you don't use the app a lot, I encourage you to download it and put it on your phone or your device, if it's your iPad, whatever it is. So whether you're a Galaxy, whether you're an iPhone person, whatever it is, put the eBay app on your phone. And then what you're going to want to do is you go to selling. And when you go to selling, you're going to see a 90-day total for sales. Okay, so it's a 3-month total. You're going to see how many active listings, how many sold. And again, it's a 90-day total. And then your unsolds. And the numbers you're most concerned about is your 90-day total and your solds. Okay. So for 90 days, and I did this quick numbers, and you can do it. I've got pen and paper. I'm just a pen and paper person, but certainly you could do this on an app. You can do this, however works for you. I'm a paper person. So let's say in 90 days, and certainly you want to consider too, it is January. So for many people, December is very busy. Okay. So certainly consider that, like, oh, were you busy in December? Some sellers were, some weren't. Most were busy. So your numbers are going to be a little bit higher. But just for the sake of doing this exercise, we're just doing the past 90 days. You can do this any month, any time of year. So quick overview. What was your past 90 days? And just grab the app. You can also do it on a desktop if you're a desktop person. And the way you access the numbers are go to paid and shipped. This is the easiest place to grab this. And when you go to paid and shipped, the default is 90 days, just like the app. And you're going to have a total dollar amount. Now, what I did notice on the desktop versus the app is that the app gives, at least for me, it gave me a few more solds than the desktop did. And I'm assuming what the desktop does, because I do some combined shipping, combined orders, is that it's factoring that in. So if 2 or 3 things ship together, it's counting it as one sale. And I don't think the app does that. I did call eBay customer service. I've got a question into them, so I'm going to get clarification on that. But for me, it wasn't that dramatic a difference. It was like 10, 15. So that's my assumption, is it's either combined orders or it could be returns. So you see a slight difference when you look at the desktop numbers and you look at the app. Just realize that's probably what's going on. It's either refunds or combined orders. But anyway, you've got a 90-day number for dollars, and you have a 90-day number for items sold. And then you also see how many active listings. And again, just for the sake of doing this exercise, and we're doing this very quickly, I'm going to assume that there wasn't a huge fluctuation in the amount of items you have listed. You might have 10 or 15 less now, or 10 or 15 more now. If it has been a dramatic change, do include that in your thoughts and in your numbers. But let's just look at 90-day sales, how many sold, how many active listings. Now, why am I doing that? Because this is the thing. Sometimes people say, well, if you have a certain amount of listings on eBay, 50, 100, 150, 200, then you're going to generate X amount of money, or this amount of money, or now you're a full-time seller, or whatever. And that just isn't true, because some people can have maybe only 40 or 50 items up, but because they have a very good sell-through rate, which is those 40 and 50 you're selling constantly, you're uploading new, that you're making good money with 40 or 50 listings. Or your profit margins are huge. Let's say maybe it's something like electronics, and you're selling very high-end electronics or luxury goods. So you may only have 40, 50, 60, 70, 80 listings up. But margins, and margin is how much you're making on each item, your margins are really, really good. So you can actually be shipping only 2 or 3 things a day, or 1 thing a day, or a dozen things a week, and making really good money because of your margins. And then somebody else could be shipping a lot more things, but they're making less money because they're making less money on each item. Maybe they're only making $3 or $4 on each item, and then the other seller's making $30, $40 on each item. So do consider that. It's number of listings, it's solds, and it's your sales, because your margins will vary, and you know what your margins are. Okay. So I thought let's do 90 days. And in the 90 days, you sold 10,000 and you'll fill in whatever your number is. And let's say 300 sold. That means you sold 100 items a month. And if you sold $10,000 in 90 days, it's about 3,300 a month. And then let's say from that, you had 200 active listings. So without changing the makeup of your inventory, okay? Again, my soup to nuts sellers, or maybe you do specialize, you're selling children's clothes, or you do specialize, you sell puzzles and toys, or you sell electronics, whatever it is, without changing how you source, what you list, whatever, you know that about 200 active listings makes you 3,300 a month, okay? And you can divide the 3,300 by 4 if you want to break it down even more. And then you can divide that by 7 if you want to get your daily number, okay? And this is just from the app. I'm getting my 90-day sales. I'm getting how many I paid and shipped and my active listings. So let's say one thing that people often like to do is I want to double my money. I want to make more money selling on eBay. So then what would I need to do? Again, without changing my business model, to double, I'll put it to you, to double your sales, if you do 200 active listings and you're getting 3,300 a month from that, what would you need to do just by very simple math to double your sales? Double your listings. If I want to increase my sales by 10%, 20%, 30%, let's say I want to increase it by 20%, okay? Then how many active listings? Hi, Sharon, how are you? Is I would list 20% more than what I have listed now. Okay. And the frustration is because I will see it, when I'm chatting with sellers, when I'm working with my members, when I'm working with private clients, is people say, oh, they got their list. They were at 200. They want to increase their sales, let's say by 10%. So that would be 20 more listings. So they're getting those 20 more listings up and they sell. It's like, sure. And I know you just had a very good weekend. It's like, oh, Kathy, I'm trying to get to 250 listings or 280 listings or 300 or 400, whatever it is. And it keeps selling. What a wonderful position to be in. But that's what you're looking at. And again, easy snapshot. I love it with the app because I'll log into the app to send offers to buyers. Is immediately I see how many active listings, my solds, and the dollar amount. So how do I increase that dollar amount? Is increasing the listings. And if what you want for you is, well, Kathy, I really don't have space. It could be a space issue. I was listening to a seller today, and it's like they cannot really list more things because of the space issue. And they don't want to go to a storage unit. They don't want to have like a pop-up thing on their property. They want to stay within what they have. Then what you do, two things, is you change your margins, look at the things that are making you the most money, and you're going to focus on those and then drop back on the other things. And the other thing is perhaps focusing on things that don't take as much space, okay? But again, what numbers am I looking at? The ones from the ads, the eBay app, and paid and shipped. I'm looking at number of listings, solds for 90 days, and the dollar amount. And then the fast, quick, easy math is if I want to change my sales by a certain percent, I now know just by looking at the numbers for my eBay business. And this is what's so important. I don't compare myself to Billy. I don't compare myself to Jose. I don't compare myself to Ken. I look at my business, my selling this is what I need to do if I want to bump up my sales numbers by a certain percent, because then it's not pie in the sky. Very much like those stores that I was in, they look at the numbers. What departments do what at what hour? The center aisle displays what is productive, what isn't, and then making adjustments. And I do this with my members in Love to Be Selling Insider. And an assessment that I did with them, the end of year assessment, your eBay 2023 end of year seller success assessment, I'm making available to you. And it's on a flash sale, numbers like this. And I also look at some other reports that are super helpful. I love eBay, but we have an awful lot of reports to look at. And what I do with the eBay 2023 end of year seller success assessment is I help you to pick which reports to look at, what numbers to look at, and then I help you. It's actually a video goes with the assessment, and I go right through everything with you. Okay. So you can this way use the assessment to make 2024 your best year ever selling on eBay. And it can be, but it's knowing your numbers, knowing what to look at, knowing what assessment is going to work for you. And that's what the assessment does. It works you through. You don't have to spend hours and hours sifting through seemingly endless pages of eBay numbers. And it can seem that way. I've developed this super easy solution for you. And if you hop over to my website, ilovetobeselling.com, you will see the slot to be able to get the assessment. Very reasonable price. I've got it on a flash sale, half off. A portion of the proceeds are going to go to Lorianne Wong's, who won the eBay Shine Award, Small Business Shine Award. And she runs a food pantry in the Atlanta area. So a portion will go to that. So super affordable price, great assessment. And again, shows you where to go on eBay, what quick numbers to look at so that you can really look at your 2023 and know what worked for you. Again, it's not about what worked for Sharon or Billy or Linda or Kathy, what worked for you. So then looking ahead in 2024, you know what to double down on for yourself. So do hop over to my website, ilovetobeselling.com. And if this sounds like something that's going to be helpful to you and your eBay selling, do grab it. Okay, that's what I do is I develop products to help my seller friends. So grab yours while it's half off. I'm Kathy, and I love to be selling. Thank you for joining me, everybody. Bye-bye.